Morning glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Good morning to Congressman Michael Garcia, represents California's 27th Congressional District. Good morning, Congressman. How are you?
Hey, good, Hugh. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad I want to lobby you on air. I became aware this week of an effort by Major Reich, a retired United States Marine Corps, to upgrade the Navy Crosses of the three aviators who led the squadrons in the Midway battle to Medals of Honor. So you're a naval aviator. You know about the Lost Squadrons. Don't you think they should be Medal of Honor
Yeah,
recipients?
absolutely. My team sent me your note, and we're looking at it right now. Would love to support you any way we can. I was actually watching, I think it was the 1977 movie Midway last night, and so happy to help. Let me know. Let me know what we need to do here.
I will send you more stuff. Now, Congressman, talking about the president, Putin and Kim Jong Un were together in Moscow yesterday. They're part of their new axis of evil. Beijing is the big boy, Iran, those two are the junior partners. Do people in Congress wake up worrying about the fact that we've got very serious enemies who are getting almost as strong as we are?
Yeah, some of us do. I don't know that all of us do. I think some of us are focused on national security and this very real world that we live in. We've got two giant bears still outside of our tent called China and Russia. China being obviously the bigger threat, like you said, but the collaboration of nations like North Korea and Russia poses a real problem for us. The sum of the parts in this case with North Korea and Russia, 1+1 can equal 3. You have two now nuclear powers potentially collaborating. The fundamental problem we have is that we don't give our peer threats. These aren't near peer threats. China is a peer threat. Russia now with its nuclear capability, even though it's in shambles with the Ukraine conflict, is still a peer threat because of its nuclear posture. We don't give them due regard, and we need to be engaging these folks. We need to be deterring these folks, putting a boot on the throat of Chairman Xi in China and being more aggressive. And this administration, frankly, you asked whether Congress wakes up caring about it. I wake up wondering if this administration, this executive branch, the Secretary of Defense wake up caring about it, because if they are, it's not reflected in their policies and certainly not reflected in their actions or their budget requests. And
They
this is
do
what's
seem
keeping me
clueless.
up at night.
Now, the
What's
key
that?
thing is, Congressman Garcia, you're in a swing district. First of all, would you tell people where California's 27th Congressional District is, the cities that you
Yeah.
represent?
Yeah, absolutely. A beautiful district, North LA County. This is Santa Clarita Valley, Granada Hills, the Antelope Valley, Palmdale, Lancaster, Acton, and Alba Dulce. So to my north, I've got McCarthy, and to the south, I've got a sea of blue with guys like Brad Sherman and the rest of the gang there. So I'm the little round top at Gettysburg, if you will, in terms of California politics.
The political little round top is right. Now, my question, when you go home to the district, it's a long haul, but you're used to flying. You're an aviator.
Yep.
What do people want to talk to you about? Well, I mean, generally, what do they stop you? Say, Congressman Garcia, do this.
Yeah, great question. We actually just had a town hall last week while I was back home during recess, 4 hours long, Hugh, and I would say 75% of the conversation was anchored around the economy or healthcare. These are the things that are kicking our butt, especially in California with the overlying policies coming out of Sacramento, really aggravating the macroeconomic indicators we have, across the country. We've got it even worse in California. So they want me to fight inflation. They want me to, fight this tax beast. I'm a big advocate for removing the SALT deduction. That's not popular within the Republican ranks, but it's starting to affect more than just California. And healthcare. We've got a real issue right now with the healthcare workforce. People can't even get appointments, and in some cases, they can't get healthcare insurance and actually get the care they need at the hospitals right now. So these are the issues. Now, the overlying theme is that they want security. They don't care about all of the drama in D.C. and the Republicans versus Democrats, left versus right. They just want security, whether it's national security, economic border security, these, social security. I think that the key is that they want us to focus on security and not necessarily these party dealings.
Now, inflation went up last month, 3.7% year over year. That's a 0.5% spike from the July number. Inflation is not cured. And now the oil is going up, 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 which means gasoline is going up, up, up. Did that come up at the town hall?
Yeah, absolutely. Between that and record high mortgage interest rates, right? And in California, the affordability index is at an all time low. And the issue with inflation is even if you get a tamer number, on a quarterly basis, it doesn't mean it's cured. It just means you're accumulating, and the rate over rate change is slowing down. But we now have a fully baked, 22 to 25% inflation over a baseline of 3 years ago, right? So when you compound over 3 years this record high inflation, it's backbreaking for the average American. And the salaries, frankly, the wages are not commensurate with the rate over rate change of the index, the inflation index. So overall, the quality of life is going down. The cost of goods is going up. Liquidity is still off the charts because of the spending craze that the Democrats have gone on for the last 3 years with Inflation Reduction Act, bipartisan infrastructure bill, America Rescue Plan. So the challenge is we still have too much cash going after too few goods. And the average American, especially middle class, lower income families, are feeling the pain right now. And the energy costs, like you said, are about to come to roost.
Now, Congressman Garcia, for many years you were under command, as a junior lieutenant all the way up until you took command of a squadron. You were flying under people's command. So you know what it's like to be under command. Do you think President Biden has what it takes to be the commander in chief right now?
No, he's never. I don't think he's ever found that commander-in-chief hat. A president wears several hats: chief diplomat, chief executive, commander-in-chief. He hasn't found that hat. He doesn't have the respect of his troops. That was evident from Afghanistan on. I mean, that was irreparable damage that he caused to our military, to the morale. This is why we see record high, record low retention and these recruitment challenges. As you know, Hugh, in this last DoD budget, I put in a record pay raise. In E1 right now makes $22,000 a year. These are the folks that first joined the military. I rewrote the pay tables for E1 to E6 so that it starts at $31,000 a year, which is the equivalent of $15 an hour instead of $11 an hour, which is what they currently make. This would have been a record high pay raise for our junior enlisted. This is where we're having the problem with recruiting and retention. And the president sent us a note saying he was going to veto our DoD bill because of this pay raise. He didn't think it was necessary. It's unfunded, even though I found the money to pay for it. It's only about $800 million in a budget that's $826 billion. So this is in the noise as far as the overall cost. But we're taking care of our troops, and you've got a commander-in-chief saying, I don't want to do this now, and he's going to threaten to veto this bill because of this pay raise for enlisted troops. So this is not.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Does no one know? I was watching the football game, the Browns game on Sunday with my brother-in-law, retired Marine Corps Colonel, Annapolis grad, and there was an Army recruitment ad, which wasn't bad. They were terrible for a long time, and we talked about the recruitment crisis. I think the Navy is worse, right? But maybe the Army is. There's a recruitment crisis, and it's because we don't pay the kids.
Yeah, we don't pay them, and I look at it as a three-legged stool. There's pay, there's quality of life, and then there's leadership. And actually, good patriots, solid people will still serve if one of those legs is missing. But when all three of those legs are missing, right, and you're not getting good pay, quality of life's terrible with high operational tempo, and you're not being taken care of when you're on deployment or at home, and you have terrible leadership in the form of a commander-in-chief and one of the most incompetent commanders-in-chief, but also one of the weakest secretaries of defense that we've seen. And in the Navy's case, one of the most anemic secretary of the Navy that we've seen. I've got a lot of respect for Secretary Air Force Kendall, but at the senior ranks, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, these are people that are imparting a culture that is not one of deterring and winning wars, but rather the social justice mentality. And their budgets reflected, and Afghanistan, it wasn't just a small thing that you can gloss over and sweep under the rug. Afghanistan itself, the behavior of the administration in the wake of Afghanistan, calling it a logistical success, this is what makes people want to get out. And I've got very senior officers who were classmates of mine now wanting to get out because this administration and the policies are making it impossible for them to lead, and they're not taking care of the troops. And to have the commander-in-chief turn down a DoD budget bill because it's too big of a pay raise for our enlisted troops in the midst of all of this, it's not only heartbreaking, it's offensive to me. I can't understand it. There's no rationale there that actually justifies.
It is suicidal, and they like to spend money. I can't believe they don't want to spend money on E1 to E6. I just can't believe.
Yeah.
Congressman Garcia, keep coming
Perfect.
back. I hope the 27th Congressional District knows what they're doing, sends you back with a huge majority. Congressman Mike Garcia will be on a lot because he's number one on a lot of target lists for the Democrats, but we're going to keep him in the Congress. Thank you, Congressman.